Hey Civic Singles, I hope you guys are staying safe. Welcome back. Today's topic is going to be about people to avoid. So I was a little biased and I put guy after each guy that I described, but just go ahead and feel free, gentlemen, females, just put females, whoever it is that you're trying to date, just put that person blank, right? So when I talk about people to avoid, I don't want it to sound like I sit on my pedestal all day trying to figure out who's not good enough for me. That's not the case, even though it sounds like the case. But I have my own set of issues. I acknowledge them. I just also think it's a big part of life to take in the experiences that you have had and be tactful about things. Don't keep doing the same things over and over again. So I just felt like there's a certain set of people that I don't see myself with for long term. And I feel like that's being smart. I feel like that is naturally smart thing to do. So here we go. The first guy that I'm going to cover is the no substance guy. So I come off pretty harsh when I say that because everyone has substance. It's just if I don't click with you or mesh with you, I'm going to think that our relationship, so really it's not the no substance guy, it's our relationship doesn't have substance based off our chemistry. So I think it's really important to pay attention to that. And sometimes with this set of person, it's almost as though you guys will just have a limitation on the scope of conversation that you've had. So maybe you guys will talk about how attractive each other is. Maybe you'll talk about how y'all initially ran into each other. Or maybe you guys will just keep coming back to the same person you guys know. So you guys can't get any more depth in the conversation. It's probably looking like this might be the case. It feels like you can only drink with that person. That might also be a situation where it's like, this conversation is only going to get fun if we add alcohol to it. So when you think about something long term, sometimes you want to have relationships that are kind of just all the way fun, all the way turned. But that could also lead to a toxic relationship because you're not actually getting to know that person deep down inside. And you know, with not having chemistry with someone, there's many things that go into it, but you need to be able to get to know someone at some point. It's up to you when you decide that there is nothing more here. But I do feel like I have dated a few guys because they're attractive and it never lasted. It just jumped right into, you know, how our kids would look really good. Like, what? That's it? That's all we have to talk about? And so, you know, having a really attractive jawline, all I'm saying is not going to get us through 50 years of marriage. And if it has happened before, I'm sure it's happened before in history, I'd like to see that jawline. Would just go ahead and just really focus on the things that are going to last. Looks might not be one of the things. It might be, but it might not. So the next guy is the self-absorbed guy or person. So this person's pretty easy to pick up on. This person really likes to talk about themselves, and it's really healthy to have a healthy version of yourself in your head, right? But some people kind of just blow it out of proportion, and it just feels like every time you talk to them, really, you're talking to their egos. This kind of guy that I've talked to before is just always talking about what they have, what they've accomplished, and what they can give me, most likely. So these three things are kind of the only conversation that we can really have, and it's just based on making themselves sound good. So really, all the time what they're talking to me about is just how great they are. They're not really asking me any questions about myself. Let me give you an example. There was a guy that I met at a coffee shop, really charming guy, ended up talking to him on the phone. And for an hour and a half, I kid you not, this man was talking to me about his life, never asked me any questions about who I am, you know, what I like to do. No reciprocating of the questions I was giving him. It didn't feel like a conversation. It just felt like he was giving me a presentation of his greatness. And I just don't think I want to be with someone that can only tell me about themselves. Because that could lead to a lot of one-sided everything. He might be selfish, is what I'm saying. Or narcissistic. Or something like that. Everything is up in the air. We don't really know what's wrong with everybody all the time. But if they make you feel like they do not care, they might not care, you know. So guys that do grand gestures all the time when they first meet you, and it's almost distracting from actually getting to know the person on a deeper level, that kind of is skeptical to me. That's suspicious. Because I just don't know why we can't ever seem to have quality conversation. It just feels like every time you're talking to me about, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there. It depends what you're looking for. I'm trying to build a long-lasting relationship where I know the person and I can see the person who they are clearly, and it's transparent to me. So whenever somebody is doing really, really grand gestures and is talking to me about all the things they're going to do with me, it's like they're enticing me, like a sales pitch. And that kind of freaks me out, because I kind of want them to realize that I am deciding based off what I want, what I think is the right fit for me too, obviously. But sometimes guys will literally say, I'm your guy. You know, like I was talking to a phone with somebody that was just like, I'm a great guy to talk to. I'm easy to talk to. And it was like he was narrating what was happening. I was like, why are you doing that? He just kept saying like, I'm just such a great guy. Like, I'm a gentleman. Like, I'll decide if you're great. What is this? What? I don't know. When someone starts narrating who they are, I also feel like that's suspicious as well. The next guy I'm going to talk about is the not interested guy. So the self-absorbed guy might also be the not interested guy, but this guy kind of is flaky with the texts, calls, things to meet up. Like if they made an appointment with you to meet up, they may not meet up with you, might miss a few calls from you, don't know where they are. Yeah, the not interested guy. Maybe when you guys do hang out, he's on his phone the whole time. So that's a pet peeve of mine when I go out of the way to meet somebody, and like anytime we meet up, we're just on our phones the whole time. I kind of need to get to know you, right? So I just feel like something goes off in some of our brains when someone isn't reciprocating the same energy that we are giving. It's really important just to minimize the amount of time you're wasting, that if someone is not in the same headspace as you, where they want to spend quality time with you and they want to get to know you better, and they're not putting in the same effort that you want to put in, instead of playing these games that we do, like I'm not texting first, that person texts me, doing this whole thing, like just being authentic. And if you want to text someone, you should feel comfortable texting your soulmate, right? I would think so. It's important not to play games, and just if the guy doesn't seem that interested or the girl doesn't seem that interested, don't waste your time. Like, not too long. Everyone can judge on their own how much time they're willing to spend with somebody, on somebody. So the last guy is the negative Joe. I went with negative Joe because I don't think it's healthy to always be positive. I know that we live in the day and age where everybody's like, eat kale, stay positive, guys. I don't think that's reasonable every single day to be like waking up just like, I'm just so happy. Like sometimes I wake up and I just feel like an angry troll, and I don't want to be in a better mood. I'd rather just stay in that state for a while. And I think it's easy to have it up and down or whatever, but there's just some people that don't have positive outlooks on life. And I will, even on a bad day, step aside and kind of like breathe and try to not pass my energy off to other people and actually process what it is I'm going through, so I can kind of just be content at least. Some people who don't care and just come in and they'll just take your piece. They'll just be like, give me this piece. You don't need that. You want to feel a sense of calm when someone you care about is around. So I definitely look for that when I'm on a date. I'm looking to feel like good, kind of what I want to take into a long-term relationship. I don't want to feel, unsure and easy, all these weird things. And I hope I, of course, am giving that to that person as well. But I do think it's really important to be aware of how they treat you in the energy, in the space. So everybody has bad days. A particular guy that I remember that would call me and just tell me about like all these things that happened to him that were just horrible, and his life just seemed so hard. And I know it sounds bad, but I just want to get off the phone. I'm just like, this is so negative. And the problem is that if someone's not able to do it themselves, have a positive outlook, they're looking to you to do that, and they might not even accept it. Having a positive outlook on life is kind of an inner thing that you gotta work on, and should be a trait that we're all trying to do, because life is tough and sometimes it only gets harder. So especially if you're talking about family and like a long-term relationship, it's gonna be tough. So make sure you're not letting people in that are negative and toxic to you just because whatever the reason may be. You don't want to be alone. A lot of negative self-talk, things like that. Like that's something that you work on over time, but it's definitely a goal that should at least be there. It should be rooted there somewhere. So you guys can be helping each other grow in a positive way instead of all shrivelly and like not in a good way. And that was my example of negative toxic relationship. But anyways, guys, happy dating, and I will be back with more. All right. Also, if you'd like to subscribe for more, please do. Sipping Single. And then on Instagram, I am there, sipping_single. So thank you guys for watching. Bye. Write your comment down there. I said write your comment down there so we can all see what kind of guys you think we should avoid, or what kind of people you have experienced that we should avoid, because it's all about experience and helping people. That's what this whole thing's about, guys. It's about helping one another. Save time. Thank you.